Is that Salamangreat taking down a Nationals first place? Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more awesome content. Wow. This top 16 out of Slovenia is actually pretty cool. You had 5 snake eyes in your top cut for 16. I'm not, I guess, that surprised by that. I really wish that the deck was dead, but you know, it's okay. We had 4 Tempai Dragons, so that leaves 9, or that's 9 decks taken up in our top 16, but that's just how the meta is right now. You're still going to continuously have these 2 decks kind of battling each other out so that we could see some sort of craziness here. Now, interestingly enough, we had 2 Marincess decks make their way in the top 16. Unfortunately, none of these lists have been posted, so we can't deep dive and analyze, you know, what has led Marincess to be successful, which is kind of interesting to think about out here, because in how much of a hand trap format that this is, and all of this, you know, I think Marincess has some of the biggest issues playing through those large amounts of hand traps. So to see that 2 of them managed to make top 16 kind of breaks the expectations of what you expect for this format. So I wanted to point that out. You know, I wish we could see what crazy innovation they were doing, but the fact that 2 made that showing here for a top cut, I gotta clap for it. That's impressive. Now for the one-ofs here, we had 1 Ubel, so standard Fiend Toolbox, good stuff, it's still doing its thing. We have our legendary Salamangreat player climbing up to the ranks of champion. We also had a Rika Sun Avalon plant pile. We'll talk more about that here in a second. Branded good stuff, which unfortunately didn't get past top 16. And we had a Kashtira deck as well, looming down here in top 16. Now, as we shift on into the top 8, we had 3 Snake Eyes. So Snake Eyes lost 2 along the way. Not exactly the worst conversion rate in the world for them, because, you know, they're still kind of sitting as nearly one of the highest representations of Top Cut. But we also had 2 Tempai Dragon decks out here. So the OTK Brothers of Destruction are still sitting here trying to challenge the meta. We still have our Salamangreat deck that won the event. And then our Ubel deck has managed to climb up here into the top cut as well, which I'm genuinely pretty impressed to see that, you know, Unchained Ubel is just actually Unchained, never mind. The fact that, you know, you're getting this chance to see this Unchained madness do this. Yeah, you're still doing Nightmare Throne plays in here, but, you know, the interactions for that, okay. And then, of course, we have Rika, good stuff. Gotta love the plant toolboxes that are able to kind of stick around here and just be this crazy powerhouse. No nib to worry about. Let's pass on over to deck list. So, our Grand Salamangreat finalist here. In terms of, you know, this deck just actually climbing up to be a main deck, you know, challenger, there's no Nibiru in the format. So I think it's one of the reasons why we get the chance to see this deck coming back into light and just crushing the meta. We are also not playing the Rage. We're just playing the Roar in here. That is so crazy to see. I mean, to be fair, this is 100% searchable, recurable. Everything that you want to see with this is good. Now, I also see up here that we are playing 2 copies of the EMP Meow Mine. So this is going to be our free little extender for this deck, which actually does technically matter. I feel like being able to climb up through, you know, some of this, the Balinix, to make the secondary copy, you know, step on into the Wick Kid if need be. Okay. Basically, we have taken the best of the engines we can get. We also have the triple parallel Exceed in here as well, so we can turbo on into, you know, whichever little sub options that we need there. Sticking to the 1 foul, which I think is fine. The triple copies of this. We're also maximizing on the triple sign-up mining. I think that this is fine. We've kind of learned our lesson about sign-up mining. There were some builds that were trying 2 of this. I think you want to stick on the 3, just in terms of the consistency. This build is doing the triple Raging Face. There was a build recently that also showed up. It was only playing it was 2 of this. No, play the 3. We're also not doing the other Link 4 for Salamangreat. Actually, this build not having access to that is actually a kind of different approach than what we're used to seeing, but okay. Outside of this, though, congratulations to the other fire deck, kind of showcasing that, you know, Salad is getting a little bit chance to shine. Yeah, it might not be the greatest in the world, but it's definitely enough to kind of be shocked about. Next up here, we have, our good old Snake Eyes Kashtira good stuff. Now, this build has actually kind of broken a lot of the norms in terms of ratios that we're used to seeing here. We're doing the 1 Fenrir, 2 Unicorns, 1 Birth, 2 Raceloth. They really wanted to make sure that they could fill out those spots for the extra Kashtira stuff, just so they could kind of get places. That's kind of crazy. We are actually main decking the Food Show as well, so we can kind of punish our opponent. Pretty standard stuff, I feel like. We're also playing the Triple Veiler. No Mourners in this. Also side decking the Ogres. Ogre has been a strictly broken card this format. When this card actually does its thing, you feel like an absolute champ. Outside of that, once again, this deck has been so standardized and so figured out at this point. You know, your ratios are locked in. You're good to go. This is what you continuously expect. All right. Oh boy, more. Another duelist out here. They must have loved the 1 Fenrir, the 2 Unicorn ratios. Because, like, actually having the extra Unicorn in here, it tells me that they valued the extra deck rip from the opponent a lot more than a lot of these other plays have been doing. Which I don't really know how I feel about that. Like, is the extra deck rip worth the extra slot to take the deck to the 44 cards? Like, aren't you just taking away from your own consistency at this point? I don't really know. It's not something that I feel like I would want to be doing in this deck. We also are playing the triple Metaltronus down here as well. They have definitely enjoyed this card as well. For a side deck option, getting the free blank special summon and then rip away a resource from your opponent. Very important. Outside of that, you are looking at more standard is as standard do. Maybe someday the meta will change. But don't worry, we have Unchained here. Now so the reason why I called this U-Bell at the beginning of the video is because you're doing the Dark Beckoning Beast with this, with the gate here, because you're going to be using the Dark Beckoning Beast stuff as stepping stones to get to your dear friend Unchained Soul Lord of Yum. You got to remember, the same interactions that U-Bell is attempting to use are basically what Unchained still wants to be using. Also, the fact that they gutted out the Dark Contract package for this deck, I will say the Dark Contract stuff is cute and gimmicky, but you're relying on too many bricks, I feel like. You know, I guess with the Nightmare Throne package with this, you are playing more than the Dark Contract gates would kind of force you to play, but being able to navigate with this stuff just feels like it ensures way more consistent options. We're still doing 2 Abominable triple escape. That hasn't really changed. You do see we are doing the 1 rivalry there, maximizing on the triple of this. We're also tucking in an Appaloosa because, you know, you're not going to get Fiend locked all the time. You will at certain points, depending on what you do. We are doing the 1 Shavara, the 1 Shyama, and then, of course, we are playing the Unchained Soul of Disaster for this deck. This card's always been a brick, in my opinion, but it does come up for some people. And we are also playing the 1 Gruesome Squirmer for the Extender as well. Outside of that, this is a very cute list. I like what we're doing here. And we also have the plant good stuff. I'm going to tell you that some of these builds pushing more towards the Arome Mage side of things has been interesting to see. Builds playing 1 Laura. We're actually playing the triple copies of the Rosalina in here, which means they really do value, you know, what this can give you. I've seen option trees for these builds. Either you're doing one of these, or, you know, you're going to 3 of this. There's been no builds testing out 2 that I've seen in terms of the competitive side of things. We are doing the triple cross out in here. You want to make sure that, you know, you don't get bummed out with your extended hand trap line. You do see that we have to play the Space Rock in here. Nibiru injure turns a lot of the time. I mean, actually, I guess to be fair, you could track talents, try to get things going. This deck's end boards, still some of the most scary things that I've seen in modern era Yu-Gi-Oh! I also see we are side decking a Jasmine, and of course we have the big old giant cactus bouncer to be our friend. Of course, we are doing the Ragnarika stuff in here as a pseudo extender to kind of keep the deck going, and we're actually playing triple copies of Jasmine in here as well. Wow, actually unusual to see, you know, this package extended on out, but okay. So what do you guys think about this? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace. patrons. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.